What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yours truly, Kendrick here, back again with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Beneath the Surface, episode 3. Back at you guys again with a very special guest. Someone that I had the privilege and the honor to meet at my previous employment and work alongside with. Man, the one and only Nick Boyette. How you doing today, man?
I appreciate it, brother. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be here. Just, man, and enjoying life, man. Enjoying life, brother. This is so unique and awkward, but it's
Yeah.
good though. It's good. Like I said, first time on camera, so yeah.
Yeah, man, it's not easy for anyone, but we always talked about this, and wanting to share our thoughts and share our opinions on
Absolutely,
certain things, share our experiences. So here we are, man.
absolutely, absolutely,
Can
absolutely.
you share some insight on how we first met from your perspective?
Um, yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. Obviously, the department we were working in, I kept hearing we were getting a new guy, right? So I found out your name, and I think one day I might have been either getting ready to go, or I was going to lunch, one of the two. And I remember seeing you finally. I kept hearing about this Kendrick. Well, who is this guy? And I finally met you one day and stopped to introduce myself. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm Nick. I work in such and such department. You know what I mean, man? If there's anything I can do to help you, just let me know. But whenever you got back there, because they had that little 2 week period or whatever,
yeah,
um just to kind of introduce myself and just let you feel welcome. I know how it can be when you're starting something new or at a new job or whatnot. So just being able to um I guess have you as comfortable and relaxed as possible, because I kind of knew me and you would be working with each other a lot. And I think that's key, that you're able to work with others, you know what I mean, and to just, hey man, you're accepted for who you are, as you are. Um, and I don't know, man. It's like we just hit it off from there, from that first handshake, brother. That first handshake, and I think it was a couple of weeks later we found out about our fandom for WWE and just wrestling in general. So that got me like super excited. I was like, yeah, yeah, I got me one now. I got me a friend now. So
yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. Good times, definitely.
Yeah, I remember that. It was I think I was either going on my break or something, and I was leaving out and walking down, and then you approached me, and I was like, "Who's this?" And we just,
He was like, who's this weird dude just walking up to me, man?
yeah,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, you introduced yourself, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Um, and yeah, we introduced ourselves, and like you said, made me feel comfortable. Whenever it was time for me to go back there,
Right.
and um, yeah, we just pretty much hit it off from there. Also working with other coworkers that we were back there with,
Yes.
and
Interesting people, to say the least. Very
very
interesting
interesting.
folks. But I
Yeah,
enjoyed the experiences though. When you left, I was like really like sad about it. I was like, damn, kind of felt like a family member was leaving, but at the same time, I was happy. You know what I mean? Because
like like
it's always
leaving.
about elevating.
Yeah, like leaving like the department or the store.
Um, it was kind of twofold because I caught it twice, when you left the department and then when you left the store too. So I was
That was,
like, well, this kind of sucks, but I understood from a grander scheme of things that, it's all about elevating in life and going to that next level. So I was happy for you, brother. I was happy for you. And, you know, um, I'm glad we were able to build that friendship there, because now, we're obviously in two different places, employment wise, but we still have that friendship there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, and like people like you, I try to keep in my life. Um, you've had a big impact on me. So, I've texted you several times and told you, and when I've seen you, hey, this video did X, Y, and Z, and even to this day, I'm still going over those videos, taking notes, listening, and trying to implement that stuff. So, yeah, I've got an interesting philosophy on that. So, just remind me because I will forget. But I've got an interesting philosophy on life, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got you. Well, just to go back, the first time I left, that was on purpose. That was just a little incident. You know what I'm
Yeah, 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 yeah.
saying? But
But you know what though? But that incident, even though at the time it looked kind of, it was actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed you to be somewhere else that you enjoyed more. You know what I'm saying? That you were more in tune with.
yeah,
Um, not having to deal with the nonsense of well, I'm being rushed to do X, Y, Z, and I've got to keep stopping and doing ABC. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think it worked out for you good, bro.
yeah, for sure. And I wouldn't have met, the people that I met in that
Right.
apartment. So um,
Yes.
that was a really cool opportunity. And so, like you said, though, we connected more as far as being WWE fans, and
Yes.
we talked that about that like all the time. And so
Going over storylines, guessing
storylines,
what we think's gonna happen. Yeah, like man, I loved it though. I loved it, and I still do, man. I still do. I'm
yeah,
a WWE lifer, so
yeah. So yeah, talk to me as far as like when you first became a fan, and what was it that kind of like stuck to you? Like, oh, this is interesting.
oh man, probably I think I was about 6 years old, and I was actually living in California at the time, and
Cali.
I remember started watching wrestling because my mother, my birth mother, she would always send me like wrestling magazines and stuff like that. That she would get. She would send them out there to me because I was living with my aunt at the time, and I kept seeing this guy Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. Who was Hulk Hogan? So finally, I was able to see Hulk Hogan on TV one day. And I think it was on the episode of Wrestling Challenge, if you remember that from back in the day. Um, and it was just like I just stuck with him from there, and it was like every Saturday I had to watch Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, and that was my hero. That was my guy there, and even had the opportunity to kind of whenever you're at an event and you're outside and the wrestlers come out, you stick your hand out there to touch them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've had that experience with him a couple of times. So that just kind of blew everything out the water. It was like for a week straight, bro. I literally did not want to wash my hand, bro. My aunt was like, "No, you're gonna go wash. You got to go do this, man." Because I was just like, Hulk Hogan touched my hand, so now I'm thinking I'm about to turn into Hulk Hogan with all these Hulkster powers and stuff like that. So that's what got me, man. That's what got me, and I've been hooked ever since, man. Hooked ever since.
yeah. So like for me, it was kind of like just flipping through the channels, and I just came across this guy in the ring talking that has a championship belt that spins, jean shorts,
Hmm.
cap, and like some sneakers. I was like, who is this guy?
Right.
And I just got captivated right then and there. And you know,
Yeah.
and of course, his wrestling and just his ultimate aura just caught me. Like, oh man, like I want to know more about this guy's story, what he does, and what he stands for.
Right.
Hustle, loyalty, respect, and that was it for me. John Cena was my guy. Still is. Like I legit hated every single person that he went up against, from the
Yeah. Yeah.
Randy Orton's, Edge, CM Punk's, Triple H, Umaga, you name them. Like I hated them all because they went up against my hero at that time, and
Right.
so um, yeah, that was kind of like my introduction to pro wrestling when I was like 7, 8, 9, something like that.
Oh
And
wow. Wow. But you
so
got it at a good time though. You caught it at a really good time. Really good
yeah,
time.
like oh 06, oh 07, 8, yeah.
At the height of it, yeah, that was at the height of it. What was really starting to kind of get that audience and just run with it. That's when the shift started to change. And I'm gonna reveal something to you too. Honestly, John Cena ended up taking over that spot with Hulk Hogan just because the hustle, loyalty, and respect. That's something that you can implement into everyday life. Um, and I feel like that will take you a long way. I really do. So to me, John Cena's is more realistic, so to speak, in the battles and things that he's gone through. Yeah, I can probably relate to Cena better than Hogan, and so a little bit less controversial with John than than Terry. So
So you grew up
I'm telling you,
you grew up on
right?
Hulk as an
Yeah,
adult,
and
and figuring out everything about him behind the scenes. Like, how do you feel
right.
about now? Now that he's gone.
I mean, I look at it from this standpoint. I know he was accused of using the N word, but here's my whole philosophy about that situation. And how can I say this? I don't want to sound crazy, but I know a lot of us that use that word every day as a greeting towards each other, right?
Yeah,
So my thing is, if the word offends you that bad and you're that offended by it, why use it at all? So you can't get mad if he says it, but then somebody of the same, skin tone uses that phrase. So if you're going to be mad about it, you be mad about it on both spectrums. You know what I mean? He had a moment, and I'm not excusing it, but I think we've all had those. Let me get that back moment. And at the end of the day, who am I to judge him for? I, it's gonna be kind of crazy, bro, because I do feel some type of way when someone passes on somebody like a Hulk Hogan or whatever. But then I have to kind of snap back into reality, and it's like, well, I didn't really know these people. I knew Hulk Hogan, the wrestler. I was familiar with him, but Terry Bollea, I didn't know Terry Bollea. I didn't know him personally, but I knew that character, and that's what I kind of, gravitated towards and fell in love with was the character. So a lot of times, man, when these celebrities pass away, I feel sorry. My condolences to the family, but I fell in love with that character, not that actual individual, because I don't know how they were as real people. I never sat down and had a one-on-one backstage conversation with Terry, so I don't know how Terry was, but you know, I felt sad about it, but it was like Hulk Hogan, that character's gone away, but yeah, I didn't. I try not to get too caught up in idolizing um, famous people, so to speak.
yeah,
If that makes any sense, you know what I mean? So yeah,
yeah. Um, I wasn't really too emotional when it came to
right,
Hulk. Um, well, first of all, I didn't grow up on Hulk. Of
right,
course, you hear about Hulk. He's pretty much the standard of what WWE is today. Without him, there would be no WWE. So I give him that respect as a wrestling fan. And so,
absolutely,
like, of course, I am saddened for his loss. It's just like, first of all, like I said, I didn't grow up watching him like that. And then two, it's like someone using that word, in an offensive way, like in a point where like you get disgusted that your own daughter dates those you know
right,
people, like, then it's like, okay, you know what I mean. That kind of like distance myself from the, I guess, phantom of this person. Like, you can be a fan
right,
of Hulk Hogan but not a fan of Terry, right?
right,
So um like I said, respect to him, and his life and what he brought to the wrestling business.
right.
One of the biggest, arguably the greatest heel turns of all time, him joining NWO, right?
Yeah,
Uh
yes, yes,
and everything that in between, with the matches with, WrestleMania 18 with The Rock. That was a legendary moment.
Right.
Um, Matches with Shawn Michaels, and the whole 9 yards, right? And so, um, yeah, respect to Hogan, giving back to the business the way that he could and did. But I wasn't too crazy when he passed. So it's just okay.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, because that whole thing with the daughter, I didn't want him dating those. It's one of those things that somebody would have that opinion, but that's his personal preference. I don't think if I had a daughter, I would ever be like that. As long as you're taking care of my daughter and you're treating her right, bro, I don't care if you're purple, orange, highlighter, yellow. Really doesn't matter. But as long as you're gonna do right by her, that's what would be the most important thing. And you know, yeah, it was one of those cringe moments. Absolutely cringe moment.
Yeah, definitely. But you being such a fan for a long time, you've seen a lot in WWF, WWE now, right?
Right.
WCW, and so
Yes.
what would you say is like has been like your top three moments as a wrestling fan, like watching something in real time, like oh my god, like this was this was amazing.
Probably one of the biggest things was when Sting quote walked out on WCW at the height of the NWO takeover. Um, and pretty much people weren't reading between the lines. And it was played off really good because you really didn't know, was Sting going with the NWO? Was he still Team WCW? What was going on? And I think it was like just amazing how they had him stay gone for all that time. And then when he reemerges, he just like completely redid himself, repackaged everything with the crow gimmick. And so that first night on Nitro when he showed up, I can't remember off the top of my head who they were beating down, but Sting came out of the rafters when they lowered him down, and that was an amazing moment for me there. The next one I would probably have to say, mm, probably the Stone Cold Bret Hart match at WrestleMania, when they did the double turn,
Double thing, yeah.
and I really like that. I like that edgy Bret Hart. But it was like there was a part of me that was like, I'm ready to see this bad guy version. Bret Hart, good guy, good guy. That's all we kind of knew. And so finally, when he just snapped and had that moment there, and then Austin with that blood, that iconic moment with Austin, right before he passes out with that blood dripping down his face, that kind of I think was the birth of Austin right there. That I think that changed both the trajectory of their careers in good ways, but I think it was definitely a turning point. And probably mm, that third one probably would have been. Mm, that's a tough one there. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Um, Probably when the NWO did finally emerge. Um, when Hogan was the third member, because we kept hearing about, who's their member, who is it, and it was a shocker because you're seeing Razor Ramon and Diesel on the competition show. So you're kind of in suspense, like, well, who's coming now? What big name is it? And there was so much speculation. And kind of when Hogan came out, I kind of had a feeling that Hogan was that third member. And I just feel like, they just revolutionized and changed everything with that one moment there, that shocking heel turn. Like you said, one of the biggest turns in history that we've ever seen in wrestling. I thought that was a seismic moment there. And it really, because, that was when WCW really started kicking WWE's butt, WWF's butt with the ratings and just, there were times that is WWF going to survive this? They're going to survive as a company? You didn't know. You really didn't know. So I think those were three of the most shifting moments that I can say as a wrestling fan really, really stuck with me.
Yeah, those are some very solid choices. And I'm gonna be honest, like there's always that one wrestler that everybody loves, and you just it's like, he cool. It's just I'm not too hot about him.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
for me, I'm gonna be honest, I just never really been a big Bret Hart guy.
Right, right.
I don't
Brett,
know. I feel like obviously I didn't watch him growing up, and so um, as a like a younger generation fan, I just heard like him in on podcasts and just like
right.
um talking negative about this person or that person and still being big
Hmm.
Goldberg and like
Right,
let that go, bro. So because of that, it's just like it's never been, a big Bret Hart person. Because every time I hear
right,
about him,
right.
I'm down about something. So but
And
again, same okay.
and for that, for Bret Hart, the way I got turned on to Bret Hart was my mom. She just had this biggest crush on this guy. So I just kind of started watching him, you know what I mean? And another fun fact, when I lived in California, I was at the Los Angeles Coliseum at the time. It's what it was called. And I think it might have been just a regular house show, but my aunt, who's now deceased, God rest her soul, she used to have a knack for surprising me and trying to make it feel like, well, we weren't gonna go do this. I get out of school. I know wrestling's in town, WWE, well WWF at the time, and I know they're gonna be at the Coliseum, and she'll be like, baby, we just don't got the money right now, or there's something else we got to do. We're not gonna be able to make it. And as a little kid, you're pouting and you're mad because you didn't get your way. And we be riding in the car, and then next thing I know, and I'm thinking like, okay, why are we going towards the Coliseum? And I'm thinking, dang, I gotta go right past it, knowing there's a wrestling event. And next thing you know, brother, we were pulling in there, and like, yeah, it was always a surprise. So, for this particular event, she had got us front row seats, which was like just out of this world for me. And lo and behold, and I wish she was still here to tell you the story too. I got Bret Hart's glasses. I was one of the ones that when he would get out of the ring and take the shades off and put them on the kid, he did that to me. And that was just like, man, I held on those glasses for forever, man. And I wish I would have been more responsible, but I'm a kid, I don't realize the value of things later on in life. And I wish I would have kept those glasses. Where they're at now, I could not tell you. I have no idea. But it was pretty cool though to, you know what I mean, to be on that receiving end. So, I guess that's kind of how I became a fan of Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I would always go back and look at the older wrestling when they would fight the tag team matches with them and Demolition, them versus the Rockers, the Nasty Boys. Back when WWE really kind of put an emphasis on tag teams. Um, so it was pretty cool. It was cool, but I can get why you wouldn't really care for Brett because I think Brett was bitter there about a lot of things, and I guess it's that old man bitterness, I guess, so to speak. If that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, Freak accident happened. Unfortunately, his career came to an end behind it. I mean, that's the unfortunate risk you take as a professional wrestler. I don't think Goldberg had the intention, yeah, I'm going to kick in your head and, you know what I mean, try to end your career. I don't think that was anything at all. But, like I say, I believe the Montreal screw job was real for almost 20 some years, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that whole thing was a work day. It was a
Yeah.
good one, though. It was a good one.
Yeah. My favorite moments as a fan. Ooh. Off the top of my head that I can remember, number one, this is no order, but
Mhm.
number one, I would say back in 2016 Royal Rumble when AJ Styles debuted. That was like
Yeah,
such a big moment because this is like Mr. TNA, you
right.
know, that a guy that was in a company that just warred so much with the WWE. And if anybody from this company ever come over, Vince would just squash him like, oh, this guy ain't nothing. He's, try
Right.
just push him down. You know what I mean? And so like
Right.
when he came, it's just like wow, like one of my favorite wrestlers ever is now in my favorite company. Like,
Mhm.
oh man, like the amount of opportunities of matches that he can have with John Cena, of course, Randy Orton,
Right.
Edge, anybody, right? Roman Reigns. And
Yeah.
so that was a big moment for me just as a fan
Right.
of AJ. Two, maybe the run itself could have been a lot better, but the moment itself was just breathtaking when John Cena
Right.
turned heel.
Yeah.
Um, just the how it worked out, with Rock being in there. Take away Travis Scott, just those three in themselves, Cody, Cena, and Rock. That was just like a massive moment in in
Oh yeah.
in wrestling history. Kind of similar to Hogan, like the ultimate good guy finally goes heel. And like, how can this be? Like, this is the guy that we look up to, our hero, our savior, right? And so
Right.
that was big for me. And I was actually at my former employment watching that.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
when I
Wow.
was not supposed to be on my phone, I was like, I cannot miss this. This is
Right.
the very
Absolutely.
last,
Absolutely.
the very last segment of the show after the chamber. Like, okay, something's about to go down. So let
Right.
me let me watch this because I wasn't necessarily watching towards the end, um, because obviously I have to work. So I was just listening throughout the chamber match, like who got
Right.
eliminated, what's going on. But like once I heard rock music, so I'm locked in now.
Yeah.
Uh,
You knew something was coming.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was a massive moment. And three, ooh, there's been so many.
Yeah.
Um,
Too many a times.
it's not necessarily my favorite, but it's like a big moment where I legit cried um as a fan. So like WrestleMania 33, when we all thought like this was it for Taker, losing to Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
main event, coat, jacket, hat in the ring, and that's just I felt like that was like the perfect send off.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Undertaker has always been someone that I've considered as the GOAT. He has been my GOAT for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, just someone that I've idolized for such a long time. Like it's kind of like in tiers, right? So John Cena and Undertaker has always been like peak for me. Of
Right.
course, you got guys like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, guys like that I like. But like they are here. But like people that up here, like nobody would touch Cena and Taker for me ever. Um,
Right.
and so when that moment happened with Taker, I remember I was in college watching that, and like my roommate was looking at me like, "What's going on? What's wrong, man?" Because he wasn't watching wrestling like that, and so
Right.
just just as a fan, that moment just hit a lot because I genuinely thought that this is it for him.
Right.
So that was
And
that
for
was
me, the only thing that I have an issue with the Undertaker on is I just hate that they ended the streak. I think he should have never lost. That would have
yeah,
been a record that would never be broken. That would literally cement his legacy's already cemented, but that would just be one of those streaks that will never be touched ever. Um, so I kind of hated when they had him lose those, especially those two, the Brock and the Roman. But you know, I mean, I still don't think anybody's gonna touch what he's done at WrestleMania, bro. Nobody. Like that's the guy. And I remember the Undertaker when he made his debut. Because I think he used to be called Kane the Undertaker originally, believe it or not. Then they dropped the Kane part off. But I remember when he debuted, man, I was afraid, dude. Like I was seriously scared of this guy, man. And you could see kids' faces like when he would come out and that dong, dong, and then this guy comes out and he just looks like he's from the dead. Nothing phases him. You can hit him with whatever. Like you literally thought this dude is never gonna get beaten, like ever.
Yeah.
So to see his career span from there to all the generations that he's covered, man, like yeah, I can see why he's the GOAT. Why you would have him at the top of that list. You know what I mean? So and then and I love his work he's doing behind the scenes too as well. With some of the younger talent and stuff like that. Um so yeah, he's one of those guys, man, that I'm like you, yeah, he would be at the top of my list. He definitely would be. I mean, it's hard to really put anybody above him, you know. I don't
Who's
see
in
who you
your,
would do. Maybe Cena, but
yeah, who's in your five? Top five all time.
um in no particular, well, yes, I will say in particular order.
Mm,
Undertaker number one.
okay.
I would absolutely say John Cena number two, just because of the principles and values that he's brought and that he's preached throughout his career. Um, Number three, I'd probably say The Rock, just because of what he brought, the charisma. And it's like whether this dude's a good guy or bad guy, you hear that theme music hit, that arena goes upside down. Even to this day. So I'd probably say The Rock at three. Mm, Number four for me would probably Stone Cold. Um, because when Stone Cold kind of brought up that badass redneck attitude, like I'm just gonna do what I want to do, regardless of what you think or how you feel. I think that kind of captivated everybody too. Um, and I think that helped change the wrestling business as well, just for a lot of stuff that we see today. Because Stone Cold kind of broke that language barrier when he started using obscenities on TV. He kind of broke that. So I like that. And then if you notice, everybody else kind of fell along suit with it. Number five, mm, mm, number five's a tough one. Mm, mm. Five has got me. That fifth one has got me. I will probably say, mm, that's a tough one there, man. That's a tough one. That fifth one. Kind of stumped on that one. Kind
Yeah.
of stumped on that one. Um, I guess if I had to say number five, I guess I would probably go with probably Shawn Michaels. Um, Probably one of the best in ring performers that we've had in the industry, and just to see his path where his career went, even with all the other nonsense that was going on, the other demons that he was battling and stuff, um, to still go out there and perform and put on a show like that, I'd probably say Shawn Michaels number five.
Yeah. That's a very solid list. And I would say mine and yours are very similar. Very similar outside. Just take one person out and insert another one. Um Cena is number one for me.
Gotcha.
Taker, The Rock. Shawn Michaels is at my four. And then I get a lot of flack for having this guy in my five, but he just did a lot more for me in my childhood.
Right.
But Triple H, man.
I can see that the evolution of the game,
Yeah.
because he changed a lot too. He did too. So unfortunately, I can't be one of the people that give you slack for it. Because that's actually like a really solid choice to have. Um, I know a lot of people look at Hunter and, oh, well, you married the boss's daughter, that's why you got to where you are. But people got to understand, you still got to go in there and put in that work. You still got to go out there and perform. You know, um, and so do you remember when Triple H tore his quad and still finished the daggone match, bro?
Yeah.
How many people could tear their quad and still continue on? And this dude here was just like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy, and um, just much respect for Triple H, man. And I know a lot of people get on him about creative and him running the show, but we got to remember he can only do but so much because these networks, if they want to see something, they're going to pressure him, and WWE is likely going to oblige because obviously that's who's paying the top dollars to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so he can only do but so much, but um, I'll give you a prime example. He was one of the main ones that was behind the Wyatt Six. When they finally made their debut, that was a masterpiece to me. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved it. Now I didn't love what happened subsequently after some of the little feuds that they got into, but that was amazing though. Um, and I'm a Wyatt Six homer through and through. So I loved how they put that together. But yeah, Triple H, I could definitely see him being on that list.
Yeah, and another example is like kind of like what you were saying as far as the networks and everything. Everybody behind the scenes kind of pressuring him to do certain things.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't Triple H's idea. Like, oh, we're gonna hold a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, but
Yeah, I'm not a fan
hey,
of that at all.
they gonna give you that bag though.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's nothing against Saudi Arabia. It's just if I'm gonna have a WrestleMania, I'm
You
gonna
might as well.
do it somewhere. I could see it being done in Perth. I think that Perth crowd gets kind of active, man. And then when they had, I think it was Backlash in France, a while back, man, the crowd was like, bro, ridiculous in that, man.
Yeah,
The crowd reaction. So I would love for a WrestleMania to be held in one of those. But I think the Saudi Arabia crowd, they'll be into it too. They get into it too. So you know, new experience, new journey. Um, we'll see how it goes. But Saudi Arabia, yeah. I was
yeah,
kind of like disappointed when I heard that. And I was like, that sucks. So,
yeah.
what can I say though?
And
WWE.
yeah, ain't nobody got to travel to Saudi Arabia, man.
Nah, I'm not. I'm good. Honestly, to tell you the truth, man, I'm not trying to travel nowhere outside the United States right now. I'm good on that, man. I don't want to go to Mexico on vacation. Nothing against the area, but I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm hearing and seeing too many horror stories of
Yeah,
tourists and stuff. I'm good.
there you go. You won't come back.
Bingo, exactly, exactly. So I'm staying away from that. Yeah, so I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna stay local, and I think we got enough to worry about here. You know what I mean? So absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned, the White Six and everything they have going on, and the way they debuted, and even what's going on with them now. So, what are your thoughts on the current product of WWE and Triple H being the head of everything creatively?
Um, I think they're doing a lot of good. Obviously there are gonna be things to nitpick at, but I feel like um a lot of the main storylines that they have going on, I really do enjoy. Like this Seth Rollins CM Punk feud that's been going on since pretty much he's come back. I love it. I love it. It's a long term feud, and honestly, I can't tell you that those guys really. I'm pretty sure they don't, but they give off that energy. Like, man, I really hate you. I cannot stand you. I'm despise even working with you. But I think that that's a credit to both of them for being able to make it work like that. You know what I'm saying? So I love what they're doing with that there. Um, there are some things that WWE does that I don't get. I'll give you Jacob Fatu for an example. He was like one of the hottest things in WWE, and I don't know whether it was due to injury or whatever, but he just went cold. and I kind of feel like you're gonna have to try to recapture that magic again. I think they should have capitalized on it before when it was hot. Again, if it was injury, that's something you can't control. But yeah, I really honestly felt like, yeah, why would you just take him off of TV like that? You know what I mean? And now they've got him in a feud with Drew McIntyre, which I actually think is pretty good. You can kind of stretch that feud out over a 3 pay-per-view span and kind of have him go 1 for 1, and then have Jacob finally come out the overall guy of the rivalry. Um, I don't think it hurts Drew McIntyre at all. But you just continue to elevate Jacob Fatu. So I like it. I like it. I like how they've kind of gotten him away from that whole bloodline. Well, I'm sorry, MFT feud with Solo, because that feud was just It was like, okay, you win the U.S. title, then you turn around and lose it. He's never gotten a rematch for it. It was kind of just like, all right, you lost the title. Just that's by the time he kind of just went away, and now you reemerged, and you know, obviously the title's on somebody totally different now. But I don't know, man. It's just WWE does that stuff sometimes. But I feel like they're heading in the good direction with the product overall, though. Like I said, you're gonna have those low moments where everything is kind of just stagnant. But I think that's with anything, any kind of whether it be sports, sports entertainment, or whatever the case may be. You have those lag moments, but overall though, I think they've got some really good storylines that they're introducing and bringing out. So I'm cool with it.
Definitely. And Jacob Fatu is a great example, like you said, and I can give you two more as far as like the flip floppy booking, where you have someone as red hot for the past 2-3 years at LA Knight, and
Yeah,
only
yeah.
thing with him is a U.S. title championship and just one at the time Universal Championship match, which was a great match with him and Roman. I think it was at Crown
Oh yeah,
Jewel, and but that was it. He had a solid match and win against Logan Paul, and I think that was SummerSlam 2023,
yeah.
24.
It was when they had that match.
Yeah, so that was a great match, but even when he lost it, then won it again, then the second reign wasn't as hot, and now he's kind of like stuck into this, Usos thing going on with the
Yeah.
division, and so yeah, like I feel like LA Knight should be in that conversation as far as world champion,
Oh yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
be that um that world champion for at least a couple months. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I
I,
mean, they
I
gave
feel
it
like
to Jay for a little while.
yeah, I feel like if you
They
give the world
capitalized on that.
yeah, I feel like if you give the world title to Jinder Mahal out of all people, you can give it to LA Knight.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because there was no way, and nothing against Jinder Mahal, but bro, yeah, you had no business being world champion. I'm sorry, just
Yeah,
nah.
and
I don't know what they were thinking.
yeah, and another example is Drew McIntyre. You talk about a guy that legit carried the company during the pandemic era. Even
Yeah,
before that, eliminating Brock Lesnar from the Rumble, beating Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania, um, having banger matches with guys like Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, as champion. He
right.
was like the guy, and to ultimately, of course, lose it. But just the past booking of him when it comes to big matches to even solidify his career, he lose. You
Yeah.
know, um, he loses the feud with CM Punk, which was a great feud, which I feel like he was the main star in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
Especially,
absolutely.
yeah, especially in the the Hell in a Cell match, I thought that was stellar. Um,
Yeah.
losing big matches, against Roman Reigns due to bloodline, interfering and all that. It's just like every time he's up for a big opportunity, there's something in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Some type of booking, some type of shenanigans is just
Going
like,
on.
and then he will lose just very flunky, like maybe a roll up or a count out.
Yeah.
Um,
Something
it's just
crazy. Something like
something weird. I think he's a bona fide, um, main eventer and world champion. And
oh
so,
yeah.
I mean, he had a taste of it at WrestleMania 40, but with the cash in with Damian Priest, that was what it was. But
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just I feel like he needs to, be in that main event spot for
He
sure.
does. He does. I
Then he lost to
mean,
Cody,
you look
you
at
know.
some of the other ones that have been, exactly. And it's kind of like one of those things where, like, you've seen all these other guys get put in that position who had these lackluster runs. I mean, the Damian Priest title run was, mm, it's like, okay. You'll look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. He used to be world champion. And nothing against Damian Priest, but that was a run that should have never happened. And real quick too, I meant to bring up another botched run that I didn't care much for. Um, and God rest his soul, the late great Bray Wyatt.
Oh,
There was no reason for him to lose that title at Crown Jewel to Bill Goldberg. That made zero sense to me. It was stupid, and I list a lot of the booking with it. It's just okay. What are you doing? And I feel like you can come up with other ways to take titles off of guys and still protect them, without them looking weak. I feel like they could have did something with Bray if you want to take the title off of him, other than losing it the way he lost it. It's like this guy's champion. You're not even a full time wrestler anymore, and you're world champion. Like I would like to know who was behind that decision making. I really do. It's stupid to me, man. Like, why are you bringing Goldberg back to defeat the Fiend, which I feel like the Fiend is somebody that should not have been beaten. Um, like I say, there are other ways to get the title off of him without him looking weak. He lost so much credibility just from the standpoint of where the character was headed with that. That like just derailed everything. Yeah. Nah.
yeah. And even before that, when he lost the title to Randy at WrestleMania 33, like
Yeah.
I felt like he could have had a much longer run, and it makes sense. Because
Absolutely.
he had literally just won at that year's Chamber,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. He did.
and
He
losing
did.
right at WrestleMania to Randy, and I feel like they could have had an amazing story, as as Bray as champion, and
Right.
Randy the later PLE or something. And
Oh
so
yeah. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't know. Like that was a good point. Like Bray Wyatt should have definitely had a much longer reign, as just the Eater of Worlds and also the Fiend.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was in love with that fan character, man. I had the damn theme song as my ringtone, and everything. Like I was invested in that guy, man. I was there with him, and it was just like I don't know. That took a lot of the air out of the balloon. It really did. So again, but it just all falls back into that lull that we were talking about. Sometimes regardless of what kind of company it is, you're gonna have those questionable moments, like make you go reason behind this, but you know. But I'm glad he did get the at least have the title. Um, he was given that opportunity because a lot of them don't even get that.
Yeah,
Prime example, LA Knight. You'll dangle the carrot in front of him, but right when he goes to grab it, you snatch it away. So and that leads to a whole nother rabbit hole of some other stuff, not
yeah,
WWE related, that's going on. Um, I won't do it because it'll chew into a lot of time, but
yeah,
the whole fiasco going on at our favorite university. Um, just some of the craziness with our Tar Heels going on. It's just like, yeah, what are y'all thinking? But in that situation, without me saying too much, um, it's different. It's unique because I kind of get a, I kind of know what's going on behind the scenes with a lot of stuff, as opposed to just the actual casual fan who's just looking at it. You know what I mean? Just from different connections with the university, with the school, family members that have gone there, graduated, and other current situations going on without me, saying too much. But yeah, man, it's just I don't know. It's just one of them things. You just okay, dokie, all right.
Yeah. So what would you say is, because you mentioned Bray Wyatt and
Right.
him unfortunately passing away. What would you say is that one professional wrestler's death that you kind of took like, oh man, like that hurt my soul, that hurt my heart right there. Like out of all people, he
Um, Owen Hart. Owen Hart, just because of the way that it happened. And if anybody knows anything about Owen, Owen didn't like heights. And obviously, we hear about the stories that have come out, since the tragedy and stuff. He didn't even want to do that. But that pressure of, hey, this is what we do, we entertain. I hate it, man. Owen was that guy. Owen reminds me a lot of myself before. He was that prankster. He was that guy that was always laughing, in a good mood. You know what I mean? Like Owen was that guy, man. And I think that got me the worst. That got me the most. It was just like, wow. Um, it was sad. And I would say probably right next to that is Eddie Guerrero, honestly. Because I think Eddie's death impacted me as well a lot too, because Eddie was that guy, man. He was good at cheating and making it look like it was the other person that was doing the cheating. You know what I mean? To pull it off. But Eddie was just amazing, man. And a lot of I saw when they did the tribute how just so many guys were heartbroken, man, when he passed away. It was just like, yo, we're never gonna see that person come out again. And yeah, I would probably say those two kind of really rocked the foundation. Like, I don't even know if I want to keep watching this stuff, man, because I don't want to keep getting attached to these characters, and
yeah,
then real life hits. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, here we go again. You know what I mean? But with the feelings and the emotions, because you get emotionally invested, like I say, into the character. Um, and so when you're no longer going to see that character, and then you look past that and you think about the actual person, and how their passing away has affected their families and stuff. And people have to understand, yeah, these are characters they're playing, but they're still real people too, who go through real everyday life stuff just like we do. um so yeah, I think those two, like I say, rock that foundation.
yeah, man. Eddie for me is number one, my number one. Like
Gotcha. Yeah.
I remember exactly how I found out. Like we were on, well, I was on um my mom's computer, and I just happened to be on her Yahoo Mail, and like
Yeah.
I don't know how I even got up there, but and I was just scrolling and looked at, oh, WWE wrestler Eddie Guerrero passed away at age whatever, and I was like, what?
Right.
I I,
Yeah.
I jumped up and I told my mom like, what was? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? And when I
Yeah.
found this out, it was literally a couple of minutes before Raw was gonna come on that day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And oh, I'm tuned in and like see what's going on, because you know certain people will say like crazy things. Oh, so and so passed away just to get clicks and
Right.
likes. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I cut on Monday Night Raw, and it was literally the screen with "in memory of," and I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
that got me. Um, you know, someone that you know carved a memory in my wrestling brain. With his
Right.
character and just his style in the ring. One of the best technical wrestlers of all time for me, and
Absolutely.
just his aura and just how he carried himself on and off screen, and just his matches with guys like JBL, Batista,
Yeah.
uh, Taker, and that 03, 05 era, '04. And
Yeah.
so,
It was
yeah, that
big.
that got me for sure. And number two, I'm gonna be honest, man. Chris.
Yeah. That
Uh,
was a crazy one.
I don't condone what he did.
Right.
But, I can't just wipe away his memory and what he did in the ring and for the wrestling business.
Right.
Um, Again, another technical wrestler that did a lot for wrestling fans,
Right.
and um and still to this day, I feel like even though I get it, just wiping him away from history from his actions, but I feel like there should be some type of recognition
Oh
somewhere.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
or maybe we don't even know. Maybe they do something privately, but like in the public eye, he's nowhere to be found. But
Yeah,
with
he's like
fame,
he's a hated villain. Yeah. And I think people say that because unfortunately what he did to his wife and child, but I think you have to look at it from a deeper perspective of what caused him to do that, which was the severe CTE damage, that he suffered and stuff. And you know, I kind of put it in the context of so a praying mantis. I'll use that for an example. Sometime a praying mantis will get this parasite, this worm that pretty much controls its body movement. And a lot of times what it'll do, it'll force that praying mantis to go to whatever body of water it can, because that worm, it thrives in water. So it will literally take over that it just takes over and forces that praying mantis to find whatever water it can, so it can leave out of the praying mantis. And you would think that the praying mantis is all right, but it's used up so much of its energy and internal workings that it pretty much just dies off. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people, like I say, they just are focused on the action, which I don't take away from that because that's sad. But understand what caused him to do that. And I've always been a big proponent of proposed that you know the more you understand something, the less scary and complex it is to you. When you really have a true understanding of how something came about, the inner workings behind it and stuff. When you have a full grasp of things, it just, you're not as afraid of it anymore. But I get it. WWE has an image to protect that they want to keep. And, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that a lot of wrestlers that have done that we may not know about that were egregious, but they're in the Hall of Fame. Um, Hulk Hogan's in the Hall of Fame, correct? If am I right, or is he not in the Hall of
yeah,
Fame?
yeah,
He is in the Hall of Fame, and you see the comment and statement that he made. You didn't remove him out of the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that words and death. You know what I'm saying? But that's still a really touchy subject to a broad perspective of people that have a lot of people were traumatized by that. You know what I mean? And used to hearing that and going through that type of stuff, just because of the color of their skin. So, I
mhm.
mean, to me, in a lot of ways, there are a lot of people that unfortunately have done things to themselves because of words. So I don't know, man.
You know what's even
I,
crazier?
You said what now?
You know what's even crazier?
What's that?
Our president is in the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. What has he done that's Hall of Fame worthy? I
Right.
don't, you know what I mean?
And look at
And
everyone.
yeah, I don't understand it, but again, WWE, that questionable stuff that they tend to do sometimes. It's like, yeah, just like with the Hardy Boys, they were gonna induct Jeff, but not Matt. How do you inject one but not the other? How do you do that? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But
And
eventually, I think they'll come around to it. They're gonna have to do both. There is no Jeff Hardy, and that's it. There is no Matt Hardy, and that's it. Matt and Jeff Hardy, two of the greatest wrestlers to ever come from the state of North Carolina. So yeah. Again, man, politics I think run a lot in this world, a lot. Um, and it's just like, yeah, this somebody's getting paid off, dude. Somebody's doing something. It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, and Jeff stood on business that he wasn't gonna do it until they both go money.
Right. And I mean, I don't blame him, man. It's like if me and my brother came from backyard wrestling, if I had a brother, which I don't. Um, but if we made it from, like I say, teenagers, backyard wrestling to where they are now, absolutely, you're not going to induct me and not my brother. Yeah, we might have had singles runs, but we were known as a team together. So I don't know. I think WWE will come around though eventually, and you know,
Yeah,
change their mind on that one.
yeah. We can talk wrestling all day, man. Um,
We can, brother. We can. We can. We can. I
you
love it
know,
though. I love
I
it.
also want to get into another topic we talk about all the time, as far as like relationships and
Yeah.
finding the quote unquote one and just finding love, right? And so,
Right.
um, let the world what's your current status right now?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think my current status, and I gotta steal it. I gotta pretty much steal it from you. I think it's been more about dating myself, learning Nick, learning me, self love, self care. It's just always been one of those things where I would always make sure everybody else was good. Everybody else's needs came before mine. I always put myself last. Um, and so just learning how to love and care about me. Um, I would say that's kind of the current status of it right now. I don't think it's anything major uh, really going on in that department. Um, but it's something eventually, you want to strive towards settling down. Ever since I was 15, dude, and it's crazy. I've always had that image, like we would see on these TV shows of like the Cosbys or the Fresh Prince, and you would always see how these couples they would go through stuff, but they would always sit down and work it out together, right? You notice there was never no cheating going on, there was never no lying going on, deception, none of that nonsense. And I always clung on to that, man, and I always wanted that. Um, but I've been through a lot of learning experiences. Just with dating overall. So, I, I've learned what I do want, what I don't want. Um, I'm a big believer now in kind of watching the company that person keeps. Um, because I'm gonna tell you something, man, and a lot of people don't realize it. But the people like if you're dating, and if that your girl or guy or whatever, you know, has that toxic crowd behind them, man, you're fighting an uphill battle, dude. You're fighting an uphill battle, and I think just a lot of stuff what I went through just kind of pushed me to that corner of, and then listening to God. Well, I need you to work on you, right? I need you to fix. This is what I'm telling you. I need you to work on. I don't need you to worry about nothing else. I need you. I got you right where I want you. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to start loving yourself more. I want you to start doing for Nick more. Um, and so I guess the current status would just be, yeah, it's there. Um, but I can't say that it's something where something major is going on. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, but it's something my mother always told me that she said when it's that time you'll know it. She said you're not gonna have to second guess it. You're not gonna have to wonder. You'll know it. And so like I say, for me, just a lot of experiences have kind of shaped and molded me. Um, with a lot of things.
Yeah. Is marriage and kids the goal?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just from the standpoint of that's something that I've always wanted, dude. Like I say, since I was like 15. And I've never wanted to be just a quote baby daddy. I always wanted to give my child a two-parent home, to have its original parents and to set an example for them. Um, you know, let's say if I had a little girl, right? She needs to know and grow up and understand, you know, what kind of love it is that comes from a man, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? How you're supposed to be treated. Just, she can see how her mother's treated by her father. So when she gets older, she's gonna know, okay, this is what real love is. This is what this means. And you're not gonna necessarily have to worry about her in and out, just clinging on to whatever kind of guy looking for that fatherly love because she already grew up with it. You know, and same thing for women that may have sons. You know, you want to do right by your husband and live that positive lifestyle in front of your son. Because guess what? When he gets older and he gets a girlfriend, he's gonna know how to treat that girlfriend. He's gonna know how to, properly show that love and care and affection. And you're just less likely to run into the craziness that some people bring from just not having that kind of stability or being able to see that stability. I just feel like we're all a product of our environment. And, you know, kind of like in football, man, because I'm a big analogy guy. And I tell anybody football and life go hand in hand. Um, you know what I mean? So it's all about creating that right culture. You know what I'm saying? It starts at home, starts behind the scenes. So you create that right culture, that right fit. It doesn't guarantee that that child's going to grow up and be, you know what I mean? But the odds increase if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
So like we talk all the time.
absolutely.
The goal has always and forever be a wife, kids, and that happily ever
Right.
after.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a constant battle with my head and my heart, where my heart will always say that. Like I'll always eventually get that dream and get that goal. But
Right.
sometimes your head be in another place and you feel like
Yeah.
the especially
Right.
after this talking stage goes out, this talking
Yeah.
stage goes away. You had true real feelings for this one, and then the energy wasn't reciprocated, and just like, dang, like, okay, now I
Right.
gotta
Right.
go back into validation because I really thought this was it. And
Right.
so, I mean, currently for me, yes, I am single. I am I'm healing. I am a work in progress. I am someone who practice a lot on trying to be a good person and good enough man for someone.
Right.
And one of my one of my next questions would be, you know, your flaws and like your imperfections. And so one thing about me that I am not afraid to do is just say, hey, like I have all of these positives about myself, but I'm gonna
Right.
go ahead and let you know, like, go ahead, buckle up your seatbelt. I have these flaws too.
Right.
Like I am an overthinker. I am someone who has been a people pleaser a lot and wanting to make sure you're good at all times. And if I mess up at
Right.
any capacity, whether it's miscommunication or we had an argument or a fight, regardless of the situation, like I blame myself. Like, what could I have done more? What can I have done less of? And so I'm constantly in my head about wanting to be quote unquote perfect for someone. And
Right. Yeah.
you know, after every situation, someone tells me like you need to get out of that phase and you need to like it's okay.
Right.
Um, and, you know, do I listen? Not really. That's just who I
I feel you on that one, man. I
always
feel you on that one.
it's hard. Um,
Right.
so you know, and like you, I've been someone who says that I refuse to be a baby daddy. I refuse to live that life. Like
Right.
I would want that two-parent household because I know what it's like to live with mom and stay with dad. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
Right.
um like I would want that imagery of my son or my daughter to wake up like, oh, mom and dad is right here and
Mm-hmm.
all is great in the world, you know. And
Right.
um so yeah, man. Like I've always wanted kids. I've always wanted my partner in my life and you know, live that family life. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Absolutely.
my biggest fear is and you're gonna think it's crazy, but my biggest fear in life is being a dad. Not because I don't want kids, it's because, like, I wanna be good enough for them.
Right.
Because
That's
again,
definitely understandable.
yeah, going back to, like, wanting to be perfect, like, I wanna be close to it, and I know that I can't. Like, I can't
Right.
make every basketball game, I can't make to every volleyball game or track meet or anything like that, or,
Right.
like, I know I can't be that parent that allows them to do and say anything,
Right.
and have some built-in discipline. And so I think me feeling like I don't want to be imperfect in a sense of I don't want them to grow up to resent, that
Right.
that would be like that would hurt me a lot, to
Oh
feel
yeah.
like, um, you know, dad was the worst, dad couldn't do this, dad couldn't do that. When it's like the total opposite, like, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, like, I wanna do this for you, I wanna do that for you, and just give you all of the world, but I know that I can't, um,
Right.
and so, um, that's why I need my partner in my life to, like, be like, "Calm down, it's okay, relax."
Yeah. That
Um,
balance.
yeah, and so, um, that's all I need, patience,
Oh yeah.
just understand that everything's gonna be okay,
I'm
and
I'm gonna use a famous Bill Belichick quote that's been really emphasized here lately.
yeah.
Trust the process. Trust the process. I compare dating and football like recruiting. It's hand in hand, man. It's hand in hand. You got your pool of prospects. So, now I need to see who's the best fit for my system. Who's the best fit? You know what I mean? And, you go about recruiting from there. Um, if you offer that scholarship to them, you know what I mean? You might have some that might commit, end up decommitting later on. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I just feel like from every aspect of it is just like there's a correlation to it. So that's what I would just like be the biggest thing, and I've had to remind myself of just everyday life. Trust the process. Rome wasn't built overnight. Some things take time to manifest, and the biggest thing that I've learned like here over time, is just bettering and building that relationship with God. Um, having those daily conversations, man. You know, having your Bible study time, having your quiet time, just learning how to, always talk to him before you make a big decision. There's just so much, that I've been learning. And again, without saying too much, because I don't want to count eggs, before the chicken lays them. But, I will say I've noticed a shift within the mindset and just, the direction things are going in. You know what I'm saying? Um, so again, I just have to, I trust him. Um, and one thing that I had to learn too, our desires aren't his desires, right? So, you know, where I may tell God, hey, this is all hypothetical. Um, I want kids, I want kids, I want kids, but he knows something that maybe I don't know, right? So who's to say you don't have kids and then you end up, not being able to handle that and you just flip out and lose your mind and just dip out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's something that you kept hollering that you wanted though. So a lot of times he'll withhold that from us at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? Until we're ready for it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna give you something that I know that you're not ready for. So that's how I look at a lot of stuff. I look at it, I need you to get you together first before I put this on you or before I give you this or put you in this position. You got to be prepped for that. You got to be ready to handle that. You know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of lean, like I say, lean on him with a lot of it, and yeah, it's definitely a process. Definitely a
What do
process, but mhm.
what do you look for in a partner? What are those qualities?
um, someone that is, I would say my biggest stuff is honesty. Somebody's gonna be honest with you. Somebody's gonna be loyal. Somebody that's gonna really truly care about your well being. And I don't mean in the sense of doing every little thing, you know what I'm saying, that you say do. Nothing like that. But just somebody who, I'm not, because I've been in situations like that before where the outsiders got more respect than I did. You know what I'm saying? Um, People that I knew were no good for my relationship were allowed to stick around. You know what I'm saying? Um, and again, it goes back to that uphill battle I was talking about. So, somebody's gonna love you the right way, respect, you know what I mean? Um, Somebody that you can be on the same page, same paragraph, same sentence with. You know what I'm saying? And be able to just grow as one. And it all starts with the mindset, man. All starts with the mindset. I can't build anything if I'm going out to the club every weekend or I'm going to sit back and get drunk with the girls or whatever the case may be, blah 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 blah. I can't do anything with that, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't. Or if they're just, yeah, man, I can't do the. I just can't do the hood stuff, man. I'm good. Nothing wrong with it. because everybody's different to each his own. But for me, nah, I'm good, man. No. No, I'm good. I'm good. That's why now I would say I pay attention to even people I deal with as just friends or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna watch the company that you keep, and that's gonna tell me a lot. That's gonna tell me a lot about a person. And I kind of wish I would have used that cheat code earlier in life. I would have avoided a lot of stuff. I really would have. But you're blind to that fact, and yeah.
Yeah, and that's crazy that you said that because like I was honestly talking to myself the other day about how I am someone who low key, I guess you can say, judge you based
Mm-hmm.
off the company that you keep
Yep.
and who you surround yourself with. Because 9 times out of 10, these are going to be the same people that's going to be around our kids, taking care of our
Mm-hmm.
kids. And
Exactly.
so I'm not the type of person to tell you what to do, but I don't like how so and so did this around my daughter or what so and
Right.
so said around my son because they're going to grow up thinking like, oh, this is okay to do or this is okay to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to check them for me for yourself,
Right.
or I'm gonna do it, and you don't want me to do it, or so I just
Right.
you know what I mean. And so I don't ever want to put my partner in a situation where they have to choose whether it's from family, friends, or anything like that. But I
Right.
know for the fact that I will be that overprotective dad,
Right.
and just yeah,
But I mean, as you should be though. As you should be, because again, I've been in relationships before, bro, where the friend may do whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I would just be like, okay, so are you gonna check these people? Never happened. It never happened. Never happened, bro. Ever happened. So it was just kind of like, okay. So then you kind of feel like, well, damn it, I'm fighting a battle by myself now. Because now I've got to go to war with this person, and as a man, you don't feel like that you should be the one that has to go after a female. And I'm not saying from a physical standpoint, but there is no reason. Like, hypothetically, if I've got a girl, I'm not going to let you bash and talk junk about my girl and I just sit back and, you know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you to chill out and go away with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bye, adios. And you don't have to worry about us being cool or having a conversation again. Ever. Like, we're good. I'm good. I'm
yeah,
straight.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
But yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like I said, it goes back to that fit, that right fit. Are you gonna really have my back the way I'm gonna have your back? And a lot of times, what we put out there, we don't receive it back. We just don't. And I think
yeah,
that's what makes it so much more special when you find that right situation, that right person. It makes it that much more special, you know. Um, but then, like I say, a lot of battles have been had. I'll give you a quick example. Um, this was years ago. And I was in a relationship, and it was like the girl got accused of some things, right? The friends came back and would tell me, oh, they're doing X, Y, and Z, and I would confront her on it. Well, they're lying. They're telling a lie. Well, are you going to check them on that lie? No, just whenever they would call the person to pick up the phone, like nothing happened. Act like it was never done. And, we would get into it because she would be like, well, you're believing what they say over what I say. But she didn't stop to understand and realize, okay, if I'm with a group of guys, right? And let's say Tom lies on me and goes back and tells my girl that I was doing something that I wasn't doing. Well, I'm going to check Tom on that first. You know what I'm saying? But guess what else I'm not going to keep doing? I'm not going to keep hanging around this same person that lied on me and try to cause issues in my relationship. Because I'm in a relationship, but guess what Tom isn't? Tom ain't in no relationship. Tom can't keep a damn good relationship. Everything Tom get into is toxic and drama. So what do you think Tom is gonna want for me to be? Single like him, doing X, Y, and Z, just like him. What do they say? Misery loves company. That's a real thing, bro. That's a real thing, and yeah. I don't know, man. It was crazy, man. It was just like crazy because how can you not understand the fact of why I would, you know what I mean, believe these other people over you? You're not
Yeah,
checking them. You're still hanging with them. So obviously, what they were saying wasn't too bad. But I look at that now as a learning experience, and it teaches you what you don't want for the future. And people do change, but kind of don't got time to sit around and wait for everybody to decide. Oh yeah, I'm ready to make a life change. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because those bad negative moments are already burned in your mind. They're already etched in your head. So you're always going to be like guessing a second, like wondering, like, are they telling the truth? Are they not telling the truth? You're always going to be second guessing it, man. That's why I say you got to be honest and upfront when you're dealing with people's feelings and something like a relationship. Um, because it's easy to gain trust, but when you lose it, I don't know if it can ever fully come back, bro. Honestly, I don't care how hard you work on it. I'm always gonna look at you with a side eye, like, okay. Even if I don't say anything, I'm thinking it in my head. You know, so um, again, it just all goes back to that right fit, man. Finding that right fit and trusting that process and praying on it, man, and keeping God first. And as long as you do that, and as long as you've known me in the
yeah,
get go, man, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't like, keeping God first, understanding. Like I wasn't doing a lot of that stuff, bro. And so it's just a testament to what he's done for me and where he's brought me from. And I
mhm.
still know I'm a work in progress. I still got plenty of flaws. I am not perfect by a long shot. You know what I mean? Um, but I'm willing to take the time to work on those imperfections, understanding that perfection will never be achieved. No matter how hard I fight for it, no matter how hard the next person, there's no such thing as perfection. It doesn't exist. But you can just strive to be better today than you were yesterday. So that's kind of the philosophy I just adopt and try to take with stuff.
Yeah. That's why I try to preach to myself a lot. And there's no such
Right.
thing as perfection, but like when you've had that mindset of wanting to be perfect for as long as you've been alive, it's kind of like hard to get out of that mindset. So I just
Yeah.
been praying a
Yeah.
lot on and just, trying to do better within that mindset. And I definitely
Absolutely,
agree
bro.
as far as the honesty and the honestly just the commitment and someone that I strive for in a partner.
Right.
And like I was saying in my first episode, I'm real big on consistency. Um,
Right.
and I can sense if it's going to be consistent between us like at the very beginning, like how the vibe is at first,
Right.
um, how we're communicating. It's like, oh, I can project like this is going to last like a week, 2 weeks, um,
Right. Yeah. You can kind of
month,
tell.
and based off of, I guess, off the connection and how we um, just talk. And
Right.
so, and just yeah, just the consistency and just like how things go off in the beginning, and you can go ahead and have like a feel of what you want to be. Um,
Right.
and I'm gonna be honest too, like this is like my first time ever saying anything about it publicly, and kind of
Mm.
like admitting it because like a couple women kind of called me out on it, but I just never really like oh, okay. But I low key like to test certain women that I talk to.
Hmm.
in a sense of like I'm real big on someone like noticing the little things. And
Right.
so
Right.
let's say for example, like I'm real big on going to the movies. And
Right.
I literally have a routine of how I do things when it comes to go to the movies. So like I order, I always get a large popcorn, bottle of water, get my ticket, go to on the side, put extra butter on it, use the bathroom,
Right.
come, then go.
Absolutely.
That's how I always do it. And so when I
Right.
tell little things and these little stories of someone, and I was like, okay, like in my head, I'm like, later down the road, I'm gonna see if she remembers. And so let's say, for example, time goes by and the thought or the idea of the movies comes up, and oh, I'm going to the movies, or I'm thinking about going to the movies. Oh, what's the first thing I'm gonna do? And I just wait for the answer, like, oh, she does pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now
Yeah.
she okay,
Yeah.
get it.
Are you
So
paying attention?
yeah, so like nothing I say goes in one ear and out the other. Oh,
Right.
she actually does pay attention to what I do and what I say and just how I do things. And it
Right.
makes me feel good. Like, okay, like I'm not the only listener here. I'm not the only one that pays attention.
Right.
And um I'm also too I don't know about your love language, but for me, I'm a big words of affirmation person.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, I need to hear you say that you love me, you care about me, you're proud of me, and you
Right.
support me. Those again, little things, but it's massive for me. Um,
Right.
like you can show me in any capacity as important as you can, but like I need to hear those words. Keeps me going, keeps me motivated, and keeps me sane in here
Right.
because this right here can be my worst enemy. And
Yeah.
so, one little thing that's done or said that you may think, like, "Oh, it is what it is," but for me, it's, like, major, like, "Okay, you always do this, but today you're doing this. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? Do you feel different about me? Like, what's" I need that communication, and
Right.
so,
To
um
know that everything's good.
yeah, yeah, so yeah, man, I'm all over the place. That's why I was talking about my flaws and all that, but,
Absolutely.
um,
But we all got them though, man. We
yeah,
all have them. We all have them, and I think as long as you continue to work on those flaws to turn them into strengths, but you accept the flaws as well. I think that's when you can really kind of take control, um, and kind of, I guess, rewrite that narrative. So where it was a flaw before, now I've actually turned that into a strength. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, so yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. But all you can do is live and work at it, man. That's all you can do. That's all you can do if it's important enough. Um, I mean, I've got like a long laundry list of stuff that I want to work on changing, and
yeah,
some of that stuff just takes time, man. It takes time, but it's just the fact that okay, you recognize it and you're willing to do something about it. That's where the difference comes in at right
yeah, definitely, man. Um, my last question is, like, do you have a do you have a preference? Do you have a type? You
You
know,
said preference of what?
do you have a preference of a woman? You know, a type? You know?
Not really, no. Not. I mean, like I, for me, man. I guess I'm just an average plain dude when I say this, but I'll take an average plain Jane over a baddie any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Because that average chick is gonna treat you like somebody. That average female is going to be more for you as opposed to that baddie or that chick with the big breasts or that chick. Hey, she got a fatty. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, all that stuff is all good and stuff, but there's a lot that comes with it that you're gonna have to deal with that you might not be ready to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, we'll take the average booty, the average size breasts, and the average looks. You know what I'm saying? Over the I gotta be seen, I got a big booty, you know what I'm saying, and I want to be seen by everybody type female. I'm good on all that, bro.
Yeah.
So, now I'm not saying that I would go out and date somebody I'm not attracted to just because they're a good person. I mean, and that's really doing yourself and them a disservice too. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man, I'm not going for the whole. I want to be on the basketball wives, whatever that show is, basketball wives of Atlanta or whatever. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm good because I see females trying to replicate that stuff, bro, and it's like you do realize that they're acting, right? You do realize that the stuff they're promoting and creating is like chaos and it's just entertainment. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people will. I've got to live my life that way, you know. Now I'm not going to work doing suplexes and stuff on people. I love wrestling, but I can decipher wrestling from reality. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
I'm not going to work just super kicking everybody like Shawn Michaels did that night on Raw and just started super kicking everybody that was around him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wouldn't say I really got a type. Well, that would be the type, I guess, so to speak. Somebody that's low key, out of the way. Not doing the clubbing. Just because I don't do those things. I don't knock anybody that does. People live their life how they want. I'm just saying for me, I'm not into all that extra nonsense. But that's just me though. Yeah. Mm-mm. And I don't want a female. I understand it's a female thing, but I do not want a female who's gonna be doing this every 5 minutes. Nah. If they start doing that, that's a sign right there. What tea are you talking? What are you? I don't understand a lot of this stuff. Bro. Like, well, you know how they do the little whatever that is, clock the T or whatever nonsense it is.
yeah.
Yeah, clear cut sign right there for me, bro. That's a sign right there, man. Nah,
Yeah.
we ain't going down that street. We're good, man. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I would say I don't really have a type, you know. Again, just I'm real big on consistency, honesty, um, communication, and just having something going on in your life.
Right.
Um, I've never been the type of person to go after someone that doesn't have nothing going on.
Right.
Like I will want you to go after what you want to do. Like I don't want a
Right.
laughter around me that just oh whatever you want to do. Like you um just caters to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I want you to have your goals, your ambitions, and go after your dreams, and we can be successful together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, um, yeah, I'm real big on that. And of course, just like you, like I'm not gonna go after anyone that's not attractive, um,
Right.
just because or trying to avoid certain kind of women.
Right.
If someone is attractive, they have the brains, they have the mindset, they have the aspirations, they have the consistency, they're honest, and they're very bright. If those extra things come with it, with the rest and the real end comes with it, great, phenomenal. That's extra for me. But I
Right.
don't
Right.
like, as the main thing that I and, because I've seen women, dated women that doesn't have either or has one or the other. And,
Right.
you know, it was what it was as far as like either the dating or the actual relationship or just talking. Um,
Right.
and um, um, I don't have a type or even as far as race. Like I've seen again seen dated um, different nationalities.
Right.
And it's like I am real big on accepting someone as they
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
not forcing my ideals on someone. And it's like either you deal with this or go along with this or you're out the door. Like I try my best to come together on certain things. Be like, okay, cool,
Right.
you do that. Like, how can I help? How can I assist? And vice
Right.
versa with I would want someone to do with me and not change certain things, not dwindle little things just because I know this person doesn't like it. Like I
Right.
would want
Right.
someone to accept me for me as well. You know what I'm saying? So um I am still on that journey and we'll see what God has in store for me,
Well, I
I,
think he's got a lot of good in store for you. I think he does, man. I really do. I really do. I really do. And you already know what I'm alluding to. But yeah, yeah. I think everything is gonna be good with that. And real quick, just to piggyback off what you said, when you were saying like somebody that doesn't maybe have anything going on, and it's for men and women, bro. There've been a lot of times that I've seen people, man, they just get with the right person, man, and skyrocket, bro. Sometimes it's just having that right person behind you, man, it can change everything, brother. I've seen dudes who they ain't have nothing going on, unmotivated, won't trying to work, won't trying to do nothing. Man, they get with a certain female, and next thing you know, bro, they're holding down a 9 to 5. They're staying out of the streets. They're literally their life changes for a positive. And I've seen females who you ain't got a whole lot going on for yourself. They get with that right guy, man, and just everything just changes, man. So, you know, I just think you just have to. I guess you just have to judge the situation. Is it worth going through that or not? You know what I'm saying? Is that person worth it? And but I don't know, man. It's tough in this generation, man. 'Cause man, bro. Now marriage to me doesn't mean marriage anymore. It's just like it doesn't hold the same weight that it used to have. So if you're lucky enough to be in that situation, you take it. You take it. Definitely take it. But
yeah,
it's
most
coming for you though, bro. I know for you it's coming. It just is, man.
definitely.
It's gonna come, man. It's gonna come, brother. It's gonna come, man. It's gonna come.
just
And
just make sure to go to the wedding.
absolutely, man. I'll come sing at the wedding. Y'all probably gonna kick me out though. As soon as I start opening my mouth and singing, like, please escort this gentleman out here, bro.
Yeah,
But I definitely would be there, man. I would be honored as always, man.
I appreciate that. My
Absolutely.
one of my dreams when it comes to my wedding is I don't really care about the color scheme, but I need some level of Carolina blue somewhere.
Oh, you already know we can make that happen, man. You already know we can make that happen, bro.
Yeah,
We can make that happen, man. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. I'll tell you what would even be special, man. If you could get married and have the wedding right there on the 50-yard line of Keenan Stadium, man, surrounded by all that Carolina blue and stuff, man. What? Bro, that would be something different. I have not seen anybody do that yet. So I hope I ain't gave away no idea, but if I did, you're welcome. Um, but that would be something nice though, man. That would be nice there. Have it right there on the 50-yard line, right on that logo, man.
yeah,
And and hopefully she's a Carolina fan too. So, it would just make it that much more special. Um,
Oh,
But yeah,
definitely.
we can't. Yeah, we can't do no Duke and State fans. Just yeah, not allowed. Let me stop, man, because some good people that I know, man, I mean, really good-hearted people, brother. That I consider, friends. Um, some of them are State fans, some of them are Duke fans. But I just like to kind of give them grief about it. I'll never hate somebody for not liking Carolina. It's okay. It's all right. I mean, when you're on top like that, you're like the brand. Of course, the hate's gonna come. So, like the Rock said, just bring it, so to speak. So,
I appreciate you, man, taking the time to talk to
hey,
me today.
I appreciate it, brother, for allowing me to be on, man. And hopefully, this won't be the first and last time. Hopefully, it's the first of many. And I'm definitely gonna work on some stuff, man. I'm trying to get you another guest, bro. It'll be the first time ever, and I'll text you about it.
Okay.
I don't think you've ever had this type of guest on the show, and so yeah,
Do I
yeah, it'll be the huh?
do I know this person?
You said what?
Do I know this person?
Um, you don't know them, but you met them one day at our former place, at your former place of employment. I introduced you to him. I introduced you to him. A
Okay.
very large individual. It's gonna hit you in a minute. It's
Okay.
gonna hit you in a minute. But he was cool though. When you met him, you was like, okay, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. But he was definitely a big uh a big person that you met, and hopefully a future NFLer. Hopefully, um. So
Mm,
I think that would
mm,
be kind of awesome. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
I
I'm
get
gonna actually get in contact with him and put y'all in contact with each other and let y'all kind of work out. But it will be the first time ever I think you've had this type of guest on your show. So yeah,
cool.
absolutely, brother. And I appreciate you again, man. Like I say, for giving me the opportunity to get up here. And man, I love it, brother. I love it. I'm glad we were able to get it done.
Yeah, man, for sure. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you too, brother. Take it easy, man.
You gotta work in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, gotta go and deal with God knows what I'm gonna deal with, but you know what though? I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm just gonna be thankful, hopefully in the Lord's will. I'm thankful to have a job to go to, bro, because there are a lot of people out there, man, don't know, how ends are gonna get met. So God is providing the way. So absolutely, I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
there. I'll be there physically. I don't know about mentally, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
You already know why.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
But
brother,
yeah.
take it easy. Have a good one, man, and I appreciate you again, boss.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right.
All right.
Man, this was episode 3 of the Beneath the Surface podcast with yours truly, Kendrick McKnight. And man, what a insightful video it was. My guy, former place of employment, one of my favorite people that I was able to meet and talk to. And this was definitely not our last video up here together. Um, More than half of it was WWE talk, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And episode 3 of the Beneath the Surface podcast, where we are unpacking the unseen, one conversation at a time. And man, until my next video, Is there